All right, peace and blessing. I think we are live. Here we go. All right, peace and blessings to everybody out there. First off, I want to start by saying I thank God for another day. I thank God for you guys, the ones that come through and show good energy. All right, so I wanted to make this live to just show you guys how I like to start off my day. Right? How I like to, this is the type of vibe, type of frequency I like to try to get myself on daily. Right? And yeah, I want to share this with you guys because I know there are some younger people that are starting to ask me, Noah, how you making money online? And yeah, that's a good start, right? But what you really want to worry about first is just your vibration, okay? The way that you're thinking, your thoughts, and how you're perceiving the world, right? That's what you should focus on first. Don't focus on the money. Just focus on controlling what you can control, right? You can't control when you're going to make the sale, when you're going to get the commissions, when all that stuff's going to come, right? All you can control right now is your attitude and yourself, your actions, okay, your thoughts. That's what you have control over, right? So that's what I need to get y'all to focus on first before we start worrying about trying to make the money, right? And the best way for me to explain this to y'all, to get y'all on this type of vibe, right, this type of thought pattern that I've been on, is to explain the law of gratitude to you. All right. So this is a very important video. You want to save this, share this with somebody that you know that is just coming into their selves, right? Maybe coming into adulthood, or maybe they're going through a rough time and they're an adult already, right? You want to share this with them because once I understood this law of gratitude and I started to practice this every day, everything started to change. Yeah, I'm not a multi-millionaire, billionaire yet, but this is really what started to change, right? Those of you that knew me and you knew of me, you knew what you know what I used to be on, right? You know what type of vibe I was on, what type of energy I was on, what I was trying to do, um, the good and the bad intentions, right? That I used to have. Once I came across this in this book, I started to move differently. And those of you that knew me in the past, you know, right? If you're looking at me now, at my profile, you're looking at my videos, and you're like, man, he seems like he's changing, right? And this is the reason why. But first, for me to get you to understand this, you have to understand the law of gratitude first. All right. So I'm gonna play this clip for you guys in this book that I came across. And since I came across this book, that this is really what sparked it. All right. So I need y'all to listen to this first, and then we can talk about these three things that gratitude does for you. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself and play this video for y'all.
Chapter 7. Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. This is true, and you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here, and give you instructions which, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received, it is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one which never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgment. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the Supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. The good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all, and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited, and to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. Draw nigh unto God, and He will draw nigh unto you. You begin to lose ground. You fix attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, and the squalid and mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. Then you will transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and the common, the poor, the squalid, and mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior, and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best, and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. Also, faith is born of gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon one's own mind produces faith, and every outgoing wave of grateful thanksgiving increases faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith, and without a living faith you cannot get rich by the creative method, as we shall see in the following chapters. It is necessary, then, to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Do not waste time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of plutocrats or trust magnates. Their organization of the world has made your opportunity. All you get really comes to you because of them. Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy, and your opportunity would be greatly lessened. God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government, and He is going right on with His work. There is not the least doubt that He will do away with plutocrats, trust magnates, captains of industry, and politicians as soon as they can be spared. But in the meantime, behold, they are all very good. Remember that they are all helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you, and be grateful to them all. This will bring you into harmonious relations with the good in everything, and the good in everything will move toward you.
All right. So hopefully you guys paid attention to that little 7-minute video. But now that you understand a little bit more about the law of gratitude, right? I want to point out three important things that gratitude does for you. All right. And this is the importance of this law of gratitude. Okay, so I want to share a couple verses with y'all. If you haven't really taken the time to read the Bible, I would really do that and start getting familiar with certain scriptures. I'm not saying you got to read the whole thing, right? But you need to get certain scriptures that really stick with you and get this new word in you, okay? Because once you get a new word in you, it will start to do something different inside of you, right? Your thoughts, and God will help you renew yourself, right? Through your mindset. But you first got to get your mind in a new word, right? So the first thing that gratitude does is it puts you in harmony with God's will, right? In Thessalonians, it says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus, right? So God's will is for us to give thanks in all things, good and bad. This is going to put you in God's will. This is going to put us in harmony, right? This puts us on God's frequency. When we have thanks in all things that we do, all things, right? It doesn't matter what happens. If your relationship's going bad, you're still thankful. If your kids are acting up, you're still thankful. If you have no money in the bank account, you're still thankful. Thankful in all things, right? Even if you have money in the bank account and everything's going good, still be thankful. This puts us in harmony with God, right? This puts us in connection with the one source, whatever you believe God is. All right. And what better to be connected to than God, the one that's giving out the blessings, the one that's that can make whatever happen in your life that you want to happen. What better to be connected with, to be in harmony with than God? Right? Let me know. And maybe this is why some of us are going through the things that we're going through, is because we are out of connection. We are not in harmony with God's will. We are not being thankful. We are not praying. We're not rejoicing the day. Could that be why? Right? So I really had to step back and get outside of myself to understand this, right? That the reason why most things don't go right in our lives is because we are not in harmony with God's will. We are not in harmony with God. We are not in a connection. When we're unconnected from God, we are we complain a lot. We're depressed. We're stressed. Right. But if you could step outside yourself and say, you know what? Even though in spite I'm going through all these things, I'm still going to rejoice through it all. I'm going to pray through it all. I'm going to talk to God through it all. I'm going to give thanks in all circumstances because I want to be in connection, no matter if I'm going through the valley or the mountaintop. All right. So first things first, you got to be in connection. All right. You got to get in harmony. How do you get in harmony? Is by rejoicing every day, praying every day, giving thanks in all circumstances. All right. All right, so number two, the importance of the law of gratitude, right? Number two reason is because we need to guard our mind from negativity, stress, anxiety, and focus on positive things in our life that we desire if we really want to manifest, right? In order for us to manifest these things, these good things in our lives, we must maintain a high frequency. How do we do that? By keeping our mind focused on positivity, on the things that we desire, and off of negativity, stress, and anxiety, all these bad things, right? Like death, sickness, violence, destruction. And this is what gratitude is going to do you. Being thankful keeps your mind guarded from those things. You cannot be thankful and think about negative things at the same time. You cannot be grateful and be stressed at the same time. You cannot be grateful and be anxious at the same time. It cannot be done. It can't be done, right? And just try to do it. If you don't believe me, try to do it. Try to say, I thank God for everything I have, and also be negative in the same sentence. You can't do it. You're either grateful or you're being negative. You're either grateful or you're stressing out. You're either grateful and you're anxious, or you're anxious. You're either grateful or you are worried. You're either grateful or you are living in fear. Choose a side. Choose a side, right? You are either going to be grateful or you're going to focus on the other things, right? The negative things. And I don't know about you, but I know in order to manifest something positive in your life, you have to keep your mind focused on positivity. How do you do that? By continually being grateful. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your minds in Christ Jesus. All right, did y'all hear what I just said? The word says, do not be anxious about anything, right? You don't need to be anxious about anything. I know this is easier said than done. We get into our little modes where we start getting anxious, getting worried, right, about what's going to happen or is it going to work out? But God says, do not be anxious about anything, right? There's nothing that you need to worry about. But in every situation, pray and petition, pray and petition, pray and petition, right? This is what you should be doing. Anytime that you feel like you're worried, or you're fearful or you're anxious, pray and petition and give thanks, right? And present your request. Present your request, right? It's nothing wrong with talking to God and giving him a request, right? God knows what we want, but sometimes we need to verbalize that. We need to put it out into atmosphere. Pray and petition, right? And this is honestly, when you are praying, I'm not saying like you should be going to God like, oh God, I wish I get $1 million, or my request is to bring my love of my life back in my life, right? Or my request is please give me a mansion or a Lamborghini. I'm not talking about requests like that. I'm talking about thanksgiving in your request, right? There's a way to ask God for things without asking Him for things. And the way you do that, right, when you pray, you should be giving thanks. Like, I thank God that I'm now earning enough money to cover all my bills and then some, right? I thank God that I'm now living in the home of my dreams. I thank God that I'm perfectly healthy, traveling the world, spending time with my family. I thank God that I'm driving my dream car. All right, do you see the difference? You're thanking God in advance that you already have these things. That's how you pray and petition with thanksgiving. All right. And once I started to do that, right? Once I started to change my prayer from asking God for things like he's a genie versus asking him with thanksgiving in my heart and already giving him thanks for things as if I'm already living that, right? It was a switch. It's a switch in perspective, right? And once you start to do this, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart. When I started to do that, I started to transcend to this peaceful vibration, right? This certain frequency that guards my mind. It guards my heart, right? It's not that there aren't things that are going on in my life, right, that may happen that could be perceived as something bad in the moment, but I don't perceive it as that anymore. If something bad that I think is bad in my life, I just say, you know what, that's probably happening because it's a reason for it that God wants that's bigger than I can see right now, right? That's what gratitude does. This is what gratitude does. When something bad that or something that other people would call as bad that happens in your life, you don't look at it as something as bad that's happening. You look at it as God's making this happen for a reason that's protecting me. It's guarding my heart, it's guarding my mind, it's guarding my body. It's redirecting me, right? So that's what you got to do, right? Gratitude is going to guard your mind from negativity, stress, anxiety, all these bad things, and it's going to keep your mind focused on positivity, right? The last thing that gratitude, the law of gratitude does for us, right? Number 3, gratitude bursts faith. Okay. This is how you get faith. What is faith? Faith is just the substance of things, the evidence of things not seen, and the substance of things hoped for. Okay. That's all faith is. But how do we get faith, right? That's the question. Faith is the evidence of things not seen and the substance of things hoped for. Right? So it's the evidence of things not seen and the substance of things that are hoped for. The evidence of things not seen. Okay, so what you can't see right now is the things that you want, right? Like good health or peace, joy, happiness, um, your dream car, dream home, right? Your dream husband, dream wife. Those are things that you cannot see right now. In order for you to see these things, you must have faith that they already exist, right? The substance of things hoped for. You must believe that the substance is already there. You must believe that the evidence is already there, right? You just can't see it in the physical. How do you get to that point? Through gratitude, right? Giving thanks to the Lord for he is good. His love endures forever. It doesn't say his love endures for a week. It doesn't say his love endures for 6 months, 5 years, forever. There will not ever be a time where God's love has not endured. There will never be a time God does not come through for you or make a way. He has 100% track record. So, knowing that, right, you start to once you start to realize that and you become aware of that, you start to count how many times God continued to come through over and over and over and over, right? It becomes a pattern. So faith comes by hearing, and hearing of a new word. Once you start to hear that new word, you start to see these things that God keeps making over and over again, right? This repetition, and it just continue to see it. It starts to breed expectancy. You expect it, right? You get to a point where things may start to go left and or just come stagnant in your life, and you get to a point where you're like, I know God's going to come through. I'm already expecting it. That expectation breeds faith, but it starts with getting grateful. It starts with giving thanks and giving thanks for God being good in your life, right? Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Psalms 136:1. His love is going to endure forever. It's not going to stop. It's going to be over and over and over and over and over again. And once you become aware of that, right, that God is always coming through, and you start looking back at all the times that he's come through, there hasn't been a time where he's let you down. You start to just expect that he's going to work it out. He's going to come through, right? And when you start to expect, then that's when faith starts to build in. And that's the evidence of things seen, the substance of the things hoped for. That's what we need to impress God. Faith. Belief that he's there, that he's already going to take care of it, and that he has taken care of it time and time and time over and over again, because his love endures forever. It's going to be all throughout your life. It's never going to stop. And even when you die, it's going to keep going over and over. And that generation dies, and it's going to keep going. Right? It's forever. It doesn't stop. All right? And knowing that it's never going to stop, God's love, that should give you some type of confidence. That should give you some type of relief that it's always going to work out. Right? It always has in the past. It always will in the future, even when we're dead and gone. Because if not, then that would mean God is a liar. God's not going to contradict himself. He's not going to make himself out to be a liar. So if he says that his love endures forever, that's what he's going to do. That's what it is. All right. So you can take that to the bank, cash it, whatever you want to do. All right. So number 3, gratitude bursts faith. Right. Without gratitude, you cannot have faith. Without faith, you do not believe. There's no belief, right? No belief. You can't impress God with non-belief, right? He doesn't work with non-believers. All right. This only works for believers. The believers. All right. So, y'all, I hope you got value from this. The law of gratitude. I hope that you listen to this. I hope that you take this serious. Okay. All I can do is give you the message, right? I'm just the messenger. I'm just the one relaying things that were told to me, that were spoken to me, and I'm giving it to y'all. Okay. So I hope that you guys listen to this, share this with somebody that you know may need to hear this. I love y'all. Nothing you can do about it. You know what got you here, Mr. Laptop Lifestyle. If you didn't know, now you know. All I'm trying to do is grow. Like I always say, make the rest of it the best of it. I'll meet you at the top because that bottom is way too crowded. Let's go.